Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon industries to strive for a self-reliant India. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says new India is capable of giving a fitting reply to any aggression. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.46%. In Jammu and Kashmir, polling concludes for 8th phase of District Development Council elections. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar announces films to be screened under Indian Panorama section of IFFI in Goa. And in cricket, Australia beats India by 8 wickets in the first test at Adelaide. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that this is the time to show capability, commitment and courage of Indian industry to the world and call upon industries and businesses to put all the energies in the coming years to establish a self-reliant India. Delivering the keynote address virtually at ASSOCHAM Foundation Week 2020 this morning, Mr. Modi said the world is moving rapidly towards the 4th Industrial Revolution. He said in the form of new technology, challenges will come and also solutions.
दुनिया चौथी औद्योगिक क्रांति की तरफ तेजी से आगे बढ़ रही है। नई टेक्नोलॉजी के रूप में चैलेंजेस भी आएंगे और अनेक नए सरल सॉल्यूशंस भी आएंगे और इसलिए आज वो समय है जब हमें प्लान भी करना है और एक्ट भी करना है। हमें हर साल के हर लक्ष्य को नेशन बिल्डिंग के एक लार्जर गोल के साथ जोड़ना है।
Mr. Modi said today is the time to plan and act. He said in 27 years the country will be celebrating its centenary of independence and what the country is going to deliver in the coming 27 years will not only determine India's global role but will also test both the dreams and dedication of Indians.
आने वाले 27 साल भारत के ग्लोबल रोल को ही तय करने वाले इतना नहीं है बल्कि ये हम भारतीयों के ड्रीम्स और डेडिकेशन दोनों का टेस्ट करने वाले हैं। ये समय भारतीय इंडस्ट्री के रूप में आपकी कैपेबिलिटी, कमिटमेंट और करेज को दुनिया भर को हमें एक बार विश्वास के साथ दिखा देना है। और हमारा चैलेंज सिर्फ आत्मनिर्भरता ही नहीं है बल्कि हम इस लक्ष्य को कितनी जल्दी हासिल करते हैं ये भी उतना ही महत्वपूर्ण है। साथियों, भारत की सफलता को लेकर आज दुनिया में जितनी पॉजिटिविटी है शायद उतनी पहले कभी नहीं रही।
The Prime Minister said investment in research and development must be hiked and private sector needs to scale up investment in it.
नया भारत अपने सामर्थ्य पर भरोसा करते हुए, अपने संसाधनों पर भरोसा करते हुए आत्मनिर्भर भारत को आगे बढ़ा रहा है और इस लक्ष्य की प्राप्ति के लिए मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पर हमारा विशेष फोकस है। मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को बढ़ावा देने के लिए हम निरंतर रिफॉर्म्स कर रहे हैं। रिफॉर्म्स के साथ साथ रिवॉर्ड्स को आज देश की नीति का अहम माध्यम बनाया गया है। पहली बार 10 से ज्यादा सेक्टर्स को एफिशिएंसी और प्रोडक्टिविटी आधारित इंसेंटिव के दायरे में लाया गया है। मुझे खुशी है कि बहुत कम समय में ही इसके पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट भी देखने को मिल रहे हैं।
He said from corporate governance to profit sharing, we must adopt the best policies of the world as early as possible. He said we should keep a profit-centric approach and make it purpose-oriented, making it more integrated with the society.
रूरल और अर्बन डिवाइड को कम करने के लिए जो प्रयास सरकार बीते 6 सालों से कर रही है, इंडस्ट्री उन प्रयासों को मल्टीप्लाई कर सकती है। एसोचैम के मेंबर्स हमारे गांव के प्रोडक्ट्स को ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म देने में बहुत मदद कर सकते हैं। आजकल आप देखते सुनते होंगे हमारे यहाँ देश में ऐसी ही चीजों का कितना बड़ा भंडार है और ये भंडार देश के किसानों के पास है, देश के गांवों में है। हमारी ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग, हर्बल प्रोडक्ट्स, ऐसी बहुत सी चीजें हैं जिन्हें एसोचैम द्वारा प्रमोट किया जाना चाहिए। दुनिया के बाजार में भारत की पैदावारों का डंका बजना चाहिए।
Mr. Modi said the country stands beside enterprise and wealth creators that will give India's youth a lot of opportunities. He said India's youth is making its name in innovation and the startup sector.
आज भारत के युवा इनोवेशन के स्टार्टअप दुनिया में अपना नाम बना रहे हैं। सरकार की एक एफिशिएंट और फ्रेंडली इकोसिस्टम बनाने के लिए निरंतर कोशिश जारी है। अब एसोचैम जैसे एसोसिएशन को आपके हर मेंबर को भी ये सुनिश्चित करना है कि इसका लाभ लास्ट माइल तक पहुंचे। इसके लिए इंडस्ट्री के भीतर भी आपको रिफॉर्म्स को एनकरेज करना होगा।
The Prime Minister said the government is constantly doing reforms to promote manufacturing in India and more than 10 sectors have been brought under PLI initiatives. He said positive results has been witnessed in a very short period.
अब जो रिफॉर्म्स देश में हुए हैं उनका जो प्रभाव दिखा है उसके बाद कहा जा रहा है व्हाई नॉट इंडिया। अब जैसे पहले कहा जाता था कि जब टैक्स रेट इतने ऊंचे हैं तो व्हाई इंडिया, आज यही लोग कहते हैं कि जहां सबसे अधिक कॉम्पिटिटिव टैक्स रेट्स हैं तो व्हाई नॉट इंडिया। पहले रेगुलेशंस और रूल्स का जाल था तो स्वाभाविक रूप से चिंता के साथ निवेशक पूछते थे व्हाई इंडिया। आज वही कह रहे हैं कि लेबर लॉ में ईज ऑफ कॉम्प्लायंस है तो व्हाई नॉट इंडिया।
On the occasion, Prime Minister presented the ASSOCHAM Enterprise of the Century Award to industrialist Ratan Tata, who received the award on behalf of the Tata Group. The Prime Minister said for the past 100 years, ASSOCHAM and Tata Group have been involved in improving the economy of the country and the lives of crores of Indians. ASSOCHAM was established in 1920 by promoter chambers representing all regions of India. Having in its fold over 400 chambers and trade associations and serving over 4.5 lakh members across India, ASSOCHAM has emerged as a fountainhead of knowledge for Indian industry.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said the new India is capable of giving a fitting reply to anyone who attempts aggression against the country. Stating that the war patterns and strategies are changing, the minister asked the newly commissioned flying officers of the Indian Air Force to be prepared for newer and emerging challenges like cyberspace war. Addressing them after presenting them wings on completion of their training at the Air Force Academy Dundigal near Hyderabad this morning, he asked them to be ready for future challenges and asked to equip and update themselves with emerging technologies. Referring to the recent standoff between India and China in the northern sector, he said, India is always a peace-loving country, but if someone attempts to disturb the country, we are always ready to give them a fitting reply.
नॉर्दर्न सेक्टर में हाल ही में हुए इंडो चाइना स्टैंड ऑफ से भी आप अच्छी तरह परिचित हैं। कोविड जैसे संकट के समय में चीन का यह रवैया उस देश की नीयत को दर्शाता है। यह एक नया भारत है जो किसी भी तरह के ट्रांसग्रेशन, एग्रेशन या सीमाओं पर किसी तरह के यूनिलेटरल एक्शन का माकूल और मुकम्मल जवाब देने की कुव्वत रखता है। हम किसी भी विवाद का समाधान शांतिपूर्ण और बातचीत के जरिए ही निकालने में विश्वास रखते हैं। दोनों देशों के बीच मिलिट्री और डिप्लोमेटिक चैनल्स के जरिए बातचीत हो रही है। मैं आज के इस अवसर पर फिर से कहना चाहूंगा कि हम संघर्ष नहीं बल्कि हम शांति चाहते हैं, मगर देश के स्वाभिमान पर किसी तरह की चोट हम बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे। हम किसी भी स्थिति का मुकाबला करने के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं।
The Union Home Minister visited Swami Vivekananda's ancestral home on Shimla Street in Kolkata this morning. Arriving there, he paid floral homage to Swamiji. He later visited Swamiji's birthplace and paid homage to Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna Dev and Sharda Devi. Later, while leaving the house, the Home Minister told reporters that it was a very lucky and happy day for himself. Mr. Shah said that the philosophy of India is famous all over the world.
मैं आज भी मानता हूं कि स्वामी जी के विचार उस वक्त जितने प्रासंगिक थे आज भी इतने ही प्रासंगिक हैं। वो शख्सियत थे जिन्होंने आधुनिकता और आध्यात्म को जोड़ने का काम किया और पूरे देश का आह्वान किया। 50 साल तक सब लोग अन्य देवी देवताओं को भूलकर भारत माता का आराधन करें तो ये देश जागरूक हो जाएगा और उसके ठीक 50 साल बाद की आजादी मिलेगी।
And it was Swami Vivekananda who introduced the philosophy to the world, and his thoughts and ideas are still relevant. The party's All India Vice President Mukul Roy, National General Secretary Kailash Vijayvargiya and State President Dilip Ghosh were accompanying Mr. Shah. Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitish Gadkari said the foundation for 25 highway projects and inaugurated 8 highways in Karnataka today. Taking part in the ceremony virtually, he laid the foundation stones and inaugurated new highways of 1,197 kilometers worth 10,904 crore rupees. Totally, 33 projects were either executed or launched today. Speaking on the occasion, Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa said that the road projects will be a game-changer in boosting the economy and improving connectivity in the country. He also requested the Union Minister to clear pending grants and approve projects connecting Bangalore with Mangaluru. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon industries to strive for a self-reliant India. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says New India is capable of giving a fitting reply to any aggression. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.46%. In Jammu and Kashmir, polling concludes for 8th phase of District Development Council elections. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar announces films to be screened under Indian Panorama section of IFFI in Goa. And in cricket, Australia beat India by 8 wickets in the first test at Adelaide. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
The country's COVID-19 recovery rate is improved to 95.46% as more than 29,000 COVID patients have recovered during the last 24 hours. Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 95,50,000. India's COVID recoveries have witnessed a steep exponential rise from 50,000 in May to over 95 lakh in December. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.45%, which is one of the lowest globally. India's cumulative test for detection of COVID-19 has crossed 16 crore mark today. A total of 1,418 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 6,14,000. Delhi government said that over 5,93,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 2,160 people recovered and 37 deaths were reported in the city, taking the toll to 10,029.
Madhya Pradesh continues to report more COVID recoveries than positive cases. The state continues to register a decline in active COVID-19 cases. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
Madhya Pradesh continues to register a decline in active COVID-19 cases. State records more recoveries than positive cases. According to Health Bulletin of a State Department, more than 1,400 patients recovered yesterday. 29,880 tests have been carried out in the state yesterday, out of which 1,181 new positive cases were reported. Maximum COVID positive case 431 registered at Indore, followed by 214 at Bhopal. So far, more than 2,13,000 patients have recovered from COVID infection in the state. Pooja Pivardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Tripura, the number of active cases of COVID-19 has dropped down to 240 in the past 24 hours. The recovery rate has also improved to 98.13%. In the past 24 hours, 21 new cases and 30 recoveries were recorded. According to the State Health Bulletin, so far 32,478 patients have been cured.
In Mizoram, the recovery rate of coronavirus has improved to 96.23%. In the past 24 hours, the state has recorded 16 new cases and 17 recoveries. So far, 3,943 have recovered, and the number of active cases has dropped down to 160. The Bihar government has decided to open schools and coaching centers for class 9 upwards from 4th of January with COVID-19 safety protocols. This decision was taken by the Crisis Management Group of the state government. Principal Secretary Education Sanjay Kumar said, if all goes well, lower classes will resume later in a phased manner. Mr. Kumar said private schools and coaching centers will be responsible for sanitizing their premises and implementing COVID-19 guidelines.
Talking to All India Radio, Dr. Piyush Ranjan of AIIMS in New Delhi has urged people to take all precautionary measures to avoid coronavirus infections even after availability of vaccine.
देखिए, ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ 9 मंथ 9 महीनों में कोविड में हमारी जानकारी बदलती रही, लोगों के नैरेटिव्स बदलते रहे। पहले हमें जानकारी नहीं था, हम प्रोटेक्शन के लिए बहुत ज्यादा रिसर्च कर रहे थे, बातें कर रहे थे। फिर बाद में ट्रीटमेंट मॉडलिटी के बारे में बात हुई। वैक्सीन के बारे में जो चिकित्सा जगत की एक बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि होगी कि अगर ये वैक्सीन जो है 100% प्रोटेक्शन और ये सारी चीजें हो जाएं। लेकिन वैक्सीन के लेने से पहले, वैक्सीन के लेने के दौरान और वैक्सीन के लेने के बाद भी जो सबसे बड़ा वैक्सीन है वो आपका संयम और सतर्कता है। आपको प्रोटेक्टिव मेजर्स बराबर बनाए रखना है और इसमें किसी भी तरह की कोई कोताही नहीं बरतनी है।
The Health Ministry has said that getting vaccinated for COVID-19 will be voluntary. The ministry, however, said that it is advisable to receive a complete schedule of anti-coronavirus vaccine irrespective of past history of infection with COVID-19, as this will help in developing a strong immune response against the disease.
The first group who will be vaccinated includes healthcare and frontline workers. The second group to receive COVID-19 vaccine will be the persons over 50 years of age and persons under 50 years with comorbid conditions. The ministry has said that vaccination for COVID-19 is voluntary. However, it has advised to receive the complete schedule of COVID-19 vaccine for protecting oneself against this disease. This will also limit the spread of this disease to the close contacts, including family members, friends, relatives, and co-workers. Dipendra Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
In Uttarakhand, Chief Minister Trivendra Singh Rawat has asked the authorities to set up vaccination centers in hospitals and in the vicinities. Chief Minister reviewed the COVID-19 vaccination scenario in the state yesterday. He directed the district magistrates to ensure availability of staff and facilities required for the vaccination process. Chief Minister also instructed the district magistrates to increase the testing rate in the respective districts for people under home isolation. The 8th phase of DDC elections 2020 is underway and has so far recorded voter percentage of 26.07% across Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory till 11 a.m. today. Kashmir Division has recorded an overall polling percentage of 16.08%, while Jammu Division recorded 36.37% up to 11 a.m. In the 8th phase of DDC elections, voting has been held in 28 constituencies, 13 from Kashmir Division and 15 from Jammu Division. Poonch district recorded the highest voter turnout of 43.88% in Jammu Division till 11 a.m., while in Kashmir Valley, Kupwara district recorded highest voter turnout of 33.43%.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today announced the selection of 23 features and 20 non-feature films in Indian Panorama for the 51st International Film Festival of India, IFFI, to be held in Goa in January next year. In the feature films section, 23 films are selected that include Kripal Kalita directed Assamese movie Bridge, Hindi films Sant Ki Aankh and Chichore, Govind Nihlani's English movie Up, Up and Up, Neela Madhav Panda's Odia movie Kalira Atit, Marathi movie Pravas, Sanskrit movie Namo and Malayalam movie Safe directed by Pradeep Kailipuriyat. In non-feature films, 20 films were selected that include Ankit Kothari's Gujarati movie Panchika, Bimal Poddar's Bengali movie Radha, English movie Ahimsa Gandhi, The Power of Powerless, directed by Ramesh Sharma, and Manipuri movie Highways of Life, directed by Maibam Amarjit Singh. President Ramnath Kovind will attend the 60th Goa Liberation Day to be held in Panaji today. Goa was liberated from Portuguese rule of around 450 years on the 19th of December 1961. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and many other dignitaries have greeted the people of Goa on this occasion. More from our Goa correspondent.
Goa is saluting today all the freedom fighters and martyrs who fought bravely to free Goa from Portuguese rule. Year-long programs will begin today. President Ramnath Kovind will arrive at Azad Maidan, Panaji to lay a wreath at the Martyrs Memorial. Governor Bhagat Singh Koshari, Ayush Minister Sripad Naik, Chief Minister Pramod Sawant will also be present. President Kovind then will leave for the state-organized function at Kampal, Panaji. President is in Goa on 2 days visit. In the meanwhile, Chief Minister Dr. Pramod Sawant unfurled the tricolor flag in Panaji today morning. He appealed Goans to build a self-sufficient Goa with united efforts. With Tushar Jadhav, Mukesh Thali for AIR News from Panaji, Goa.
The year 2020 witnessed a landmark development in education sector in the form of the new education policy. The policy is a comprehensive framework for elementary to higher education. It also covers vocational training in rural and urban areas. Our correspondent reports the policy promises to reform and transform our education system by next year.
Muhammad Qasim, a junior high school teacher in Mukarrabpur village of Sambal district of Uttar Pradesh, is quite upbeat these days. No, that has nothing to do with the palpable sighting of the COVID vaccine. Rather, the spring in his step has to do with the new education policy announced by the centre recently.
It is an India-specific policy. It has not been copied and pasted from some other country. It focuses on the mother tongue. Not only children will be able to study their mother tongue, it will also generate a lot of employment for the language teachers.
Almora-based lecturer and literator Dr. Deepa Gupta says the new policy will take the students from memorizing to learning.
It will be a blessing for students who are creative. The present education system is making children who just memorize by heart and so fall behind. Learning your mother tongue till the 5th class helps them to keep their culture roots. The proposal for flexibility at graduation level of education will benefit those who leave study in between. First year, the student gets a certificate, second year diploma and a degree on completing, which is very practical.
Union Education Minister Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank told AIR News that the policy has the potential of creating Atmanirbhar Bharat and taking India to the new heights at the international level.
तो नई शिक्षा नीति 2020 आ रही है। ये जहाँ अंतिम छोर के बच्चे को पूरी विकास की संभावनाओं को देगी, वहीं विविध क्षेत्रों में आगे बढ़कर के अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर भारत का न केवल स्वाभिमान सम्मान बढ़ाएगी, बल्कि जो हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री ने $5 ट्रिलियन की अर्थव्यवस्था की बात की है, कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात की है, इन दोनों को करने में ये जो नई शिक्षा नीति है, वो निश्चित रूप में एक आधारशिला बनेगी।
One has been listening from time immemorial that we follow Lord Macaulay's mission for using education to create prototype clerks. But only now, a tectonic change has occurred and the entire education system is revolutionized from grassroots level vision of real education. This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision. Naseem Naqvi, AIR News, New Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has bowed to Guru Tegh Bahadur on his Shahidi Divas today and recalled his vision for a just and inclusive society. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's life epitomized courage and compassion.
All India Radio's weekly magazine Sanskrit Saptahiki will air its 25th episode today. Sanskrit Saptahiki, which started on the 4th of July this year, will complete broadcast of its 25th episode today. This weekly Sanskrit magazine is presented by All India Radio every Saturday at 11:20 a.m. and the repeat program airs every Sunday at 11:20 a.m.
सुनिए संस्कृत जगत से जुड़ी विभिन्न गतिविधियों पर आधारित कार्यक्रम संस्कृत साप्ताहिकी का 25वां विशेष संस्करण इस शनिवार प्रातः 11:20 से तथा पुनः प्रसारण रविवार प्रातः 11:20 से आकाशवाणी के समाचार चैनल FM गोल्ड पर।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold virtual summit with his Vietnam counterpart Nguyen Xuan Phuc on Monday. During the summit, the two leaders will exchange views on a wide range of bilateral, regional and global issues and provide guidance for the future development of India-Vietnam Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. In this year, both countries continued to maintain high-level exchanges.
The government has said that paddy procurement has shown an increase of 23.70% in the current Kharif marketing season over last year. The Agriculture Ministry said over 405 lakh tons of paddy has been procured till date. It said government continues to procure Kharif crops at its minimum support price from farmers as per its existing MSP schemes. Out of the total purchase, Punjab alone has contributed over 202 lakh tons, which is 50.2% of total procurement. The ministry said about 47 lakh 17,000 farmers have already been benefited from the ongoing procurement operations with MSP value of 76,524 crore rupees. Ministry of Railways has said that efforts have been made to increase the capacity to make trains available on demand, and it will reduce the possibility of passengers getting wait-listed. Reacting to some news reports that there would be no waiting list with effect from 2024, only confirmed tickets would be available by 2024, the ministry clarified that wait list is a provision that remains whenever the demand for travellers in a given train is more than the number of berths or seats available.
India International Science Festival IISF 2020 is going to be organized from the 22nd of December on virtual platforms. This will be the largest science festival to be held on virtual platform. The central theme of this year's festival is Science for Self-Reliant India and Global Welfare. The festival begins on the 22nd of December, the birthday of Srinivas Ramanujan. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, Secretary DSIR and Director General Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, has said the objective of IISF is to induce the person about different facets of science and technology.
IISF is specifically meant to celebrate achievements and advancements of science and technology of our country as well as global advancements in science and technology. We are making our young generation aware about the new things which are coming up on the horizon of science and technology so that they may pursue science further in their life.
In Ladakh, Dras recorded the coldest night of the season as temperature dipped to minus 29 degrees Celsius. Kargil's temperature too dipped to 21.1 degrees Celsius, and in Leh it was minus 18.3. More from a Kargil correspondent.
The freezing temperature is raising various problems as the water supply pipes in various areas gets blocked due to water freezing and other day to problems. Meanwhile, the UT administration, along with the Project Vijayak of Border Road Organization, is trying hard to keep the National Highway 1D connecting Ladakh with Kashmir open for traffic, and still trying to open it as it gets blocked due to snow blizzard yesterday. People in Kargil are happy on the commencement of Zojila Tunnel construction work and thanking the government with a hope to have a regular commercial air service, which recently the MP Ladakh has raised with the SpiceJet company. People will have a relief from these bone-chilling temperatures if they have a proper connectivity with the rest of the world. The chilling cold temperature also brings the joy on the face of the young athletes who eagerly wait for playing ice hockey. For AIR News, this is Anad Ali from Kargil, Union Territory of Ladakh.
In cricket, Australia beat India by 8 wickets in the first day and night test at Adelaide. Chasing 90 runs for a win, Australia scored 93 runs for 2 wickets. Earlier, India were bowled out for 36 after the last batsman, Mohammad Shami, was retired hurt. Josh Hazlewood took 5 wickets and Pat Cummins scalped 4 for the hosts. With this disastrous performance, India has set a poor record of posting its lowest ever test total so far, and this is the lowest test score by any team in 65 years.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. Cold wave will continue to prevail in national capital. The minimum temperature was 3 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 21 degrees. Srinagar is expected to have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between minus 7 degrees Celsius and 10 degrees. In Jammu, the minimum temperature was 3 degrees Celsius while maximum will be 15 degrees Celsius. The city will have mainly clear skies. Leh is expected to have mainly clear sky. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between minus 7 degrees Celsius to 10 degrees. Muzaffarabad is expected to have mainly clear sky. Temperatures between 2 to 14 degrees Celsius.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon industries to strive for a self-reliant India. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says new India is capable of giving a fitting reply to any aggression. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.46%. And Jammu and Kashmir polling concludes for 8th phase of District Development Council elections. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar announces films to be screened under Indian Panorama section of IFFI in Goa. And in cricket, Australia beats India by 8 wickets in the first test at Adelaide. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on Air app. And with that, we end the Midday News.